Hello. How are you?
Hey, I'm good, Claire. How are you?
Yeah, really good. We have sunshine here, quite continuous
Ah,
moments, and it's quite radical. And we're all in
nice.
blue sky. There's not a cloud. It's
Mm,
not been a cloud all day today. So
wow.
very pretty
And
on.
today, oh, sorry, go ahead.
There you go.
I was just going to say, and here in Alberta, in our part of the world, it is raining and I'm loving it because that's all we've had is pretty much sunshine. So it's nice to have some rain. It's good
Hmm.
and it's fresh. I love the sound of it. I love the feeling of it. So it's good. Got to wear my raincoat this morning on my walk.
Oh, cool. And the grass needs it, of course, which is what Bruce says every time it rains.
Right. Yes.
Mhm.
Something always needs it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I've got a
Yeah.
word for you today.
Do
Are you,
tell.
are you ready for the word? The word
I'm
is
ready.
change.
Mm, yeah. It's funny because it's like the first thing that came up was it's a love-hate thing where it's something to love and also it can be a challenge. There's this quote that comes up from a mentor from a number of years ago. I don't know where she got it from, but it's like everyone wants transformation, but nobody wants to change. And I thought, well, that's an interesting way of looking at it. How I see it is that everything is always changing outside of us, like always. We don't notice it necessarily. Like how many times I've just heard myself say in the past month wanting to get away and get out and do some camping. And it's like, oh, I'm I need a break from, the same old happening in the house because I work at home, I live at home, but even in that, there really is change every day happening. I'm just not always looking for it because I'm looking for something very specific. It's like, no, not that change. This is the change I want. I'm going all off. I can see these rays of places I could go with change. You know, the lovely thing about change, I see when you can recognize that things are always changing out there, but there's something inside that just never does. It's always the same. It always has that place of just like, oh, yeah, home, where there's nothing going on. It's like a place to rest. Years, like 30 years ago, I took a lot of training in Reiki. I became a Reiki master and I taught and I had only 2 students and it's like, okay, that's good. And it's like, that wasn't for me, that whole teaching. And then I got into some other energy work and energy healing work and stuff. And this was a surprise to me when I went into my mind, when I just sort of allowed myself to quiet, when I was doing the energy work, this other modality. And it's like, oh, I'm in the same place as I am when I do Reiki. Oh, it's the same place. It's the same place. It's the place of home, the place of no change. It's like a platform of where you can always leap off from there because it's solid. And there's this familiarity that is comforting, I guess. And also where I see kind of confidence. It's like a confident place. It's a known place. It's a place that you can easily settle into. Anyway, that's first off, that's kind of some of the things that are coming up to me about change. How about you? What does change bring up for you?
So when you were talking just before about that place that is never changing, that's always there for us, that sense of home, that sense of, people call it all sorts of things, don't they? Calm, peace, wisdom, love, maybe. I think knowing that that's there helps us to move with the changes that might be happening in the outside world, because they do, don't they? Like, and I think that, like, there's somebody who says, and I can't think who it is now on their podcast, they say we're built for change. I think it might be Amy Johnson. She says we're built for change. And I think the reason that we're built for change is that we have this bedrock, this inner resilience, confidence, all those kind of things. And that everything else is outside, isn't it? That outside of that is us and changing us, which of course you and I both have been on small missions around that particular thing, and we changing ourselves. I think probably most people listening to this will have been on some kind of change journey to try and, in inverted commas, fix themselves, make themselves better in some way, by changing thoughts and feelings and behaviors. And then there's the outer world, all of that stuff that goes on, that we really are, our capacity to change, whether it's internally or to handle the stuff that the world throws at us in terms of things that change, is actually infinite. We are built for it. And yet it's been made to look so hard, hasn't it? It really has been made to look hard. I was speaking to a lady earlier who has had a diagnosis, and she was very, very young, and really seeing that, having tried everything to try and fix herself, to try and make herself better, that's almost, those attempts to change have almost embedded a concept, they embed a self-concept that we can't change, when in actual fact we're built for it. And without looking out there to try and find the thing that we need to do to change ourselves, there is this innate capacity for it. But we don't see it because we're already busy-minded, there's lots of interference, and then we're going out there to try and find the solution to sort ourselves out in whatever way, shape or form that might take. And it's all just upside down and outside in and back to front, really, how we're doing change. It's natural, but it's been made so complicated. What are your thoughts on that, on kind of how the world has made it so complicated?
Yeah, well, everyone wants to help. And what works for one works because it's a match. So it's not gonna work for everyone. So it's like being in a boat and trying to catch one wave. it's impossible. By the time you try and grab onto it, there's another way, there's another way. Everything is, because it's all changing. As soon as you are able to grab onto something, it's like, oh, it's dissolved and there's something new. There's a new one. Try this. So there's a lot of choice out there, which is good. It's nice to have choice. We have free will, so we can choose. But when we learn to choose from that place that never changes, from that space, from that calm, that clear place where everything is moving, and it's just like all of a sudden something's going to go by and it's like, hey, there's something to that. And you reach out and it's like, it's got something in there for you that will be beneficial. So rather than looking at all the things and listening to the latest news story or what your latest favorite guru has to say about it, listen to your own guru. Make you your own favorite guru. So yeah, it can really knock us off guard. Hey, and just here's a very personal story of how you can flip it the other way too and get into a pickle, where I was so determined that, intuitive living, intuitive eating, intuitive moving, I got all that, I got all this, I understand how it works. And it was, I got into my mind, I fell into this human trap of thinking I can do this all on my own. But I wasn't on my own. I wasn't using the all of me, the most of me, this foundation, this wisdom. I was using things from up in my mind, my personal mind, to like sort things, right? That's intuitive, that's not. I was dismissing my signals from out there. So I kept getting this thing come into my awareness around how, as a 58-year-old woman, it might be better for me to move my body. Because it's like, I know my body. I've been living with my body. I'm really in tune with it now. And I kept pushing this away. And as soon as I got, oh my gosh, I keep being shown this. Maybe I should have a look. And it changed things for me. Even it was so simple when I opened up and really felt, it's like, right, this is something that I'm meant to have a look at. So our best chance is to just really get quiet and know that you have that, settle into it. We've all felt it. There's no one who's not felt that sense of knowing and at home and rightness, where you just know. So look for that. Sydney Banks calls it the good feeling, for a good feeling. And it does. It is always a good feeling when you're following that. So when I was trying to do all this on my own, and I know my body and I know about intuitive, I know I can trust myself, I wasn't really, I was still separating my personal from my personal mind from my divine mind, from that wisdom coming from within. So it's really allowing all of you to come to the table, because there's absolutely a place for our personal intellect. There's absolutely a place for it. We don't want to cut anything off, which I'm kind of an all or nothing girl. I'm aware of that. I'm noticing where I'm either all this or all that. And it's like, oh, let's just, how can this just How can I be in the whole ocean and not try and just ride this one wave? What do you get out of that? See or spark?
I think what came to mind as you were, well, a couple of things. The first thing was that when you were talking about the wave, what came to mind when you're trying to catch the wave and it's already gone? What came to mind for me is that the sense of flow. And I liked what you're saying there, because what we're saying really is that it's always changing. It can't not be, that there's a flow going on here in life and it's always changing. And so if we, so a trap for me for many years was, in terms of growing my business, was after, clicking on all the Facebook ads, getting everybody's downloadable what's a jiggy to build your social media and get a 6-figure business and blah, blah, like downloading a lot of those things, and trying to then shoehorn myself into somebody else's model. So trying to change how my business was and how I was by forcing myself to do it somebody else's way. But what I love about what you just said there is that just cannot make sense, really, when you realize that there is this flow. And so what you're doing is you're on some old bit of stuff that's like way over there, it's gone. And in the meantime, something's trying to flow through you, and you're over there doing somebody else's shenanigans. It's not really the now. What's now is what's coming up fresh and new within you. And that's just made that even clearer for me, really, just the way you talked about that in terms of the wave that's already gone and you can't catch it. While ever we're trying to change by doing it somebody else's way, we're missing our own intuition, our own wisdom that can help us to change in the way that's best for us. But also what you were saying about kind of almost going full circle with how you've been around your body. My thing has always been procrastination, organization, motivation, that kind of productivity, similar to you with the body, but productivity. And what's really made me smile this week, and I've noticed it coming in more and more, is that in the past I've always I've gone through a phase of thinking, working with business coaches and thinking that I've got to do a plan and everything scheduled to the nth degree, and kind of then stick to the plan, and really beating myself with a big stick if I didn't. And then I've gone through this phase of just, right, I'll just follow my intuition, and I'll just kind of do. And I've increasingly over time, I've noticed myself becoming more and more productive and more creative, and having the ideas and the solutions dropping in all nicely, and like the perfect game of Tetris, all just fall down into place. And I've started scheduling my day. Just making me laugh, because so many people in the past tried to make me do it, and now it's almost I am that kind of person. I like organization. I like things to be in. I've made a little table, and I'm actually putting in all my appointments, and I'm scheduling what I'm going to do that needs doing, and getting it done, because I'm quite enjoying this sense of, oh, well, I've just got half an hour to do this before my next meeting, so let's crack on and do it. And it's kind of getting me into this kind of fun. It's a nice place with it. It doesn't feel forced, it doesn't feel pushed. But I tried to make that change happen for years by trying to do it somebody else's way. And the other place where I've that's come up for me is the use of Trello. Other organizational tools are available, we must let you know, of course. But for years, virtual assistants in particular, you must use Trello, it's the best thing ever, blah, blah, blah. And I'd be like, I don't get it, I don't know. And then I just got to a point where my social media content was just a bit disorganized, and people tried to get me to do it on an Excel spreadsheet, and that was just horrendous, and all this other stuff. And I just thought, I'm gonna watch the odd video on how to use Trello to organize your social media. Watched a couple of YouTube videos, then just got so into it, and now my entire life is on Trello. If Trello goes down, I'm doomed, because everything's on Trello. And now I use it really intuitively. I use it to organize all sorts of different things, and I have personal Trello boards and work Trello board, and it's just so funny that And that's what I like there, where you're saying the union between the intellect, like knowing there's a thing called Trello, getting the practical skills on how to use it or how to schedule, it is cool. And I think sometimes we can push back against that stuff, but we do need both. And I think to facilitate change, we do need both, because we need a bit of knowledge, don't we? Like, oh, I want to do this better. What are the ways I could do this better? But then we do need that quiet and that kind of flow to work out what might be our bit of that, what might be our way of taking that particular tool and using it to make the change we want to make. And you do need both. You need the union between the intellect. And I think perhaps what I see in our sort of 3 principles community a little bit is a rejection of anything that's the intellect, and it's all got to be intuition. We've got to follow the flow. And I've seen that with some of my clients who work within the 3 principles as coaches too, that they can't kind of, they're struggling to change, they're struggling to get things they want to get done because there isn't that union. So I love the way you spoke to that, this union between the intellect and the quiet and the calm. And we can be in this place of change, but in flow. We can be in a place of flow, but using our intellect, that it all just kind of blends together. It's all one thing after all, isn't it? We can reject the duality on this like we can on anything else, can't we? It's all just totally connected. We don't need to separate those things.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's like being right-handed, so stronger and right-handed, or do things better with your right hand, so just letting your left hand sort of dangle there. It's like, use it all. Your right hand will be even more powerful with the assistance of your left when needed. Yeah.
That's lovely. Yeah. Even if it's just to help you balance, it's needed, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a lovely place to leave it. Thank you, Michaela. That was really lovely. There was a lovely flow.
Thanks. Riding the waves.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Lovely to surf with you.
Bodyboarding's about my limit. Just thank you so much, Michaela. I'll see you next time. And we'll see all of you next time too. Or you'll hear us, in fact. Thank you.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.